This 46th ranked wide receiver could easily be a wide receiver 2 for you this week. Make sure you go get him. Welcome to Fantasy Football Free For All. We're going to do something a little different in week 7. We're going to do sneaky wide receivers and running backs. People that are projected in a range where I think they're being undervalued. So, to start, let's go Travis Fulgham. This guy's story is awesome. Obviously, we've heard about him, we've seen his performance, but they're still fading him. This Giants team is nothing if not able to be had. I mean, look at his season stats. 18 receptions, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns. He is currently wide receiver 20 in average depth, or average receiving yards. That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, this guy wasn't even on anyone's fantasy radars. He needs to be on yours. The next sneaky wide receiver is Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick has quietly come on after the injuries to KJ Hamler, Cortland Sutton, and he's showing that he is probably the wide receiver 1 for the Broncos. Drew Lock is not, a super efficient quarterback, but he is a bit of a gunslinger. He wants to put the team on his shoulder and win it through the air. And Tim Patrick is the person who benefits from that. He currently has 20 receptions, 310 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's a lot, especially considering that this team was in utter disrepair. Its win before New England was against the Jets. And no one's scared of the Broncos. Look at the production on the last 2 weeks. Against the Jets, 6 for 7, 113 yards and a score. Versus New England, which is supposed to be this super stout defense, 4 for 8, 101 yards. People in PPR, that's not that crazy. But in a standard league, 101 yards, you're likely going to get some bonuses for that. And this is going to continue against a pretty miserable Chiefs defense. They're going to be behind, and he needs to be in your roster. My last sneaky wide receiver is Mike Williams. Justin Herbert and Mike Williams have a connection. It may not be as strong as the Keenan Allen connection, but before the bye, he showed that he has what everyone thought he had at coming out of Clemson. 5 receptions, 8 targets, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of this production is because Keenan Allen was injured early. But that doesn't mean we're going to see, 1 target for 17 yards like he had versus Carolina. This is something where they're building. I would put dollars to donuts that Mike Williams is going to see 4 or more targets going forward in every game. He is going to be that red zone threat. I think you're going to see this transition from Hunter Henry and Keenan Allen solely and include Mike Williams. So go get him. Now, at running back, this is a little harder because there's not, some running back 3 that nobody's ever heard of that's going to just steal the day. But what there are some really darn good values. So the first one is Phillip Lindsay. Melvin Gordon is going to be suspended. It's going to happen. The league has stated that they will not tolerate player conduct like this. So I'm guessing there's at minimum a 2-game suspension. And Phillip Lindsay was dropped in a lot of leagues. Now, he had a good game last week. He carried the team, really. He had 23 attempts for 101 yards. But he's going to have 2 more games. That's my prediction. 2 more games of value. And you could get a lot from that. The Broncos, their schedule is not that scary. You got to look at it and think, okay, yes, the AFC West is tough. But the Raiders' defense can be had. The Chargers' defense can be had. The Chiefs' defense can be had. Go get Phillip Lindsay and He might not be the starter this week with Melvin Gordon kind of working back in, but as soon as that suspension drops, you're going to be so happy you have him. Austin Scott. He's playing the Giants on Thursday Night Football. Don't mess around and get cute and start some like Chase Edmonds or somebody like that. Go get him. Put him in. If you put in a waiver claim for him, it's probably because you need him, and start him. Now, our last one, someone that I think is being slept on. And I know it's weird to say like a top 10 running back is being slept on, but James Conner has quietly put together a really solid season, especially for someone who had so many injury concerns coming into the season. Last week, in the utter stomping of the Cleveland Browns, he had 20 attempts for 101 yards and a score. He should have had 2 scores, but Benny Snell Jr. vultured one. This week, it's not that scary versus the Titans. That Titans offense is going to run differently without Taylor Lewan and probably without Jonnu Smith. This Steelers organization wants to ground and pound the football. James Conner is slated to have that heavy workload every week through the games that he has played. The minimum number of carries is 15. 15 carries. That is bell cow back category. I know you want over 20, but in this current day and age with how they rotate running backs, that's not going to happen. But James Conner has all the value that you could hope for. Some others receiving notes on both sides of the wide receiver and running back. Damien Harris, the running back for the New England Patriots. Damien Harris showed he is going to be the primary running back. T. Higgins. T. Higgins for the Bengals is quickly becoming their wide receiver 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if he passes Tyler Boyd to be the wide receiver 1 on this team. He's clearly got that connection with Joe Burrow, and Tyler Boyd just keeps getting nicked up. But T. Higgins is becoming that big play player. He is like a better version of John Ross. And with A.J. Green diminished, John Ross requesting a trade, Autumn Tate being hurt, it really leaves just Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. So go get them. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.